Work Scott Oshman along with Tim Boyle. We saw a pretty interesting first half, Mr. Boyle. They come into the second half, Bellevue Wolverines up 21-10 over Glacier Peak.
Absolutely. And, Glacier Peak, I think if you asked a lot of their fans and, all the people watching, if they'd take being down by 11 at half, they'd probably say, yeah, we're right in this game. And they are right in this game. I mean, they're kind of going toe-to-toe. Bellevue's got the edge on the, Bellevue's racking up some rushing yards. Unfortunately, Bellevue's committing some pretty big penalties, too. The one thing Glacier Peak really needs to do is Linney's only 3 for 13 tonight, and he's got an interception. He's really been off his mark on a bunch of passes, and he really needs to kind of tone that in right now.
Well, listen. If Glacier Peak was able to win this game tonight, it would have to go down as one of the biggest upsets in Washington State high school football history, wouldn't it?
That'd be maybe.
That
might be overstating it, because Glacier
you're the 12th, 13th ranked team in the country, though.
That's true, but Glacier Peak's no slouch either. But it would be to your point, it would be a monumentous upset.
I mean, the miracle on turf.
It could happen. I mean, Glacier Peaks, they're playing well. I mean, Bellevue's not used to only being up 11 at halftime.
No, they're not.
Unless they're playing like a Oaks Christian or a De La Salle or something like that.
Right, and Coach Gunneroff, I'm sure he's in halftime going, hey, we got 204 on the ground in the first half. That's just not good enough.
Yeah.
Too many penalties. They had the turnover. Got good pressure on Hasty. Also want to keep you updated here on some other scores. Again, latest score we have out of Federal Way is Federal Way up 6-0, but that game started at 7:30. We'll try and get an update as we go along here. Also for Snohomish kind of county, Archbishop Murphy up 21-7 over Mount Baker.
And then you got the Skylines up 7-0 on Monroe, and Monroe's going to have they're gonna need to pack a lunch playing Skyline tonight, because Skyline is really good.
Now, I did overstate the fact that if Glacier Peak wins, but we were down on that sideline. Let me tell you, they haven't won 8 out of the last 10 state titles because they think they're going to even get tested.
No, and you can just kind of tell by the feel of talking to the coaches and just the whole feel of the stadium that they have no doubt that they were going to win this game, and maybe they're too overconfident. Well,
and again, we talked a little bit during the half when we were off the air about good teams, great teams, which Bellevue is certainly that, come out in the second half and talk about adjustments. I mean, they could just put the gas on the concentration level. They could just put it to them. But at the same time, Glacier Peak's got to feel great about where they're at second half here.
Yeah, I think Bellevue's probably a little bit stunned, not thinking that this game was going to be this close. They probably, here, Bellevue's playing the 3rd seed out of the Wesco 3A, and that's generally kind of a weaker league the last couple of years, and they're thinking, we got this game, no problem. So there's a chance they overlooked them.
Well, Glacier Peak not doing it on the ground tonight. 12 carries for just 33 yards. And David Linney actually has got the most carries, and he's got the most yards on the ground with 24. In the air, again, Tim alluded to it, not much better. 3 for 13, 96 yards, 76 of those on one pass to Sean Elledge. Did hurt them in the first half. They had the ball 1st and goal at the 1, and they couldn't convert. Ended up to have to put a field goal.
That does hurt. Fortunately, in the next time Bellevue had the ball, Timmy Douglas had that interception, and
great play.
Yeah, great play. Hasty makes a bad decision and tries to get rid of it, and just like that really quieted the Bellevue fans. But what Glacier Peak really needs to do is come out and score. They're going to get the ball first here and get this crowd back into it, and shut keep the Bellevue crowd quiet. So
some of the big plays for the big players. Evan Nelson, number 5, again tied coming in tonight with 13 touchdowns. Hasn't got a lot of touches. Look to see hopefully Evan Nelson get back. As Bellevue is going to kick off here.
And they're kicking it to Evan Nelson, so there you go, Scott.
Mitch Johnson to Nelson. 20, makes a cut. Now tries to get outside.
Oh, he's hit hard.
Devin Murphy says, I don't think so, Mr. Nelson.
Well, he tried going east-west instead of north-south, and he paid the price there. But, At least Evan Nelson got a touch. He hasn't really been involved in this game at all. So you're right. Look for him to act. If they're going to win this game, they're going to need to get him involved a little bit.
Now as you see the Glacier Peak offense in the silver helmets. On the near side, you have Elledge and other senior, Elledge is a junior, senior Dalton Pittis, number 7. 1st and 10 for David Linney. See how he comes out of the second half. See makes 77. Big Sandstrom stands up to look over for the play. 1st and 10 at their own 21-yard line. Low snap. Now hands it off to Caribou, who cannot shed the tacklers, especially big Kyle Benz.
He got about 4 yards on it, so it's not bad. But these are the plays where Caribou's usually getting about 15 yards, and he's hitting that corner and getting outside the tackle, and he's typically during the year, those are big plays for him, and he's just not able to find it tonight.
Leaves him at 2nd and 7. Just tremendous quickness up on the front line for Bellevue. Caribou the lone setback. Linney to pass over the far side. Not even looking is Quentin Dunbar, and that's happened a couple times tonight for Glacier Peak. You can't do that.
I don't know where the miscommunication is on that, because Linney's done that a couple times, and I don't know if it's just a misread or he's throwing it too soon, or Dunbar's expecting that to go somewhere else. But Dunbar's open on that play. Well, he's coming out of the. Looks like they're just making a switch, but
Pittis will go now on the far side, slot receiver. Again, when you play a team this good, you cannot have that happen. Now he's sitting at 3rd down and 7 again from the 24. Goes across, now gets over the middle. It is complete.
It's actually going to be close to a first down, depending on what kind of spot they give him.
Now
they're going to back it up a yard.
It's going to leave him 4th and just a little bit.
Jeez, I don't know about that spot. They're going to punt. That's too bad. Yeah, it looked like he might have had the first down, and then the ref kind of backed it up a yard. Not what Glacier Peak was looking for. They needed to come out and get a couple first downs here.
Austin Smedrud on to punt, and he'll be kicking it to Scott Whiting, the junior. Fumble snap, almost blocked, but he gets it away off the side of his foot. Bounces at the 44-3, and it'll settle down at the 42. Not what Glacier Peak wanted coming out of the half. A stalled drive.
And you don't want to go 3 and out. They really needed to get some first downs, get the momentum going, and
so the onus goes on the defense.
Still questioning that spot.
Well, you got to move on, Tim Boyle.
I can't do it.
Let it go, buddy.
Can't.
1st and 10 for Hasty now. Hands it off. Again, I apologize in the first half. Morales instead of Bulware, and I believe that's Bulware with the carry.
Well,
Brandon Hershey, the senior, getting a great game out of Brandon Hershey. Another tackle.
When they tackled him, they kind of threw him forward about 2 or 3 yards. Oh, and then the ref just threw it another yard forward. Did you see that?
Well, I think he looked at the line judge, and he was a little off.
They give him the first down on that.
1st and 10. Right on the mid
formation there.
Little movement. Hasty gives it now to Jack on the right side. He's cut down, but keeps his feet. Now he's still going, and he's finally taken down.
And there's going to be a hold in the back also. So
Sean Elledge finally catches up with Jack in the backfield for a loss for Bellevue. Miles Jack.
Now, question is, they going to take that? Probably it's going to be about a 10-yard. That's going to be a holding, so it'll be at least 10.
Penalties fueling a big momentum shift in the first half for Glacier Peak.
And worthy of note is that guy, they should have had him, and he just keeps running around, and it takes a lot of effort for the Grizzlies to get him back there, and they are going to take that penalty. It's going to back him up at least 10 yards.
Miles Jack moving away from Bellevue down to, I believe, the Georgia area.
It's going to bring him back to the 38-yard line, so they got to get all the way to the... That's going to be 1st and 22, so that's a 12-yard penalty.
Jack now setting up in a tight end. Now he's back with Boulware. And Jack gets it on the right side, breaks through, breaks another tackle, and it's a foot race, and Miles Jack all the way to the 10. Good night, Irene. Touchdown, Bellevue Wolverines.
And he finds a hole. And did you see one of his running backs come from out of nowhere to put the block on Hershey? Just came out of nowhere, and Hershey had a play on him, and great block.
Well, that's exactly what we talked about could happen. You get the first opportunity at Glacier Peak, didn't stall the drive. Then Bellevue comes back and do what they do, and they get a seam, and then see you later. They have so much speed. It's just phenomenal.
They got it everywhere.
So now they lead 27-10, and Mitch Johnson goes for the extra point, and it is good. And that will make it with 9:26 left in the third quarter. Bellevue Wolverines 28, the Glacier Peak Grizzlies 10.
Well, and that's, again, that's what we talked about when we were on break is, sometimes these great teams just open it up in the second half. They make a couple adjustments, and Glacier Peak really needed to get a couple first downs on that drive. They got it to they had about a 9.5, and it wasn't, they needed another half yard, and they really got to string together some first downs, or their defense is going to get worn out real fast.
Could see the Glacier Peak coaching staff cheering on the players on the sideline, trying to get their spirits high. Again, they've got to get the ball. They've got to score to keep this a game.
Well, the way they're going to get their spirits high is to keep that defense off the field and start putting together a string of downs and, obviously get some points on the board. 26
carries now for Bellevue, 266 yards, a huge gain there by returning Miles Jack. Welcome back, Mr. Jack.
Yeah, we thought he was hurt at the end of the half, didn't we?
Yeah, yes, we did.
Yeah, so obviously not that bad.
Johnson now kicks it off, and we get to see Evan Nelson for the first time from the 10-yard line. Slices, but he is quickly stopped and brought down just over the 25-yard line. God, he was running as fast as he could, and then all of a sudden just boom.
Yep, he got hit hard.
He hit quicksand.
He was going full speed ahead.
Matt Gilbert for Bellevue, the 6-foot senior, said, I think you're going to stop about right here.
Now, Glacier Peak's in a funny situation. Now if they get it to fourth down, they're probably going to have to go for it because they can't just keep giving the ball back to Bellevue. And
now they're loading the far side. They go with their patented screen, and it is
Evan Nelson. He lost his footing when he was cutting. He was cutting right, and they're going to get a late hit on that too. He lost his footing, and then a Bellevue guy came and dove in on him. So it should be a personal foul.
The other thing, obviously, we've been covering Glacier Peak all season, and talking to the coaches, said, hey, Coach Rowe and even Mark Bircher, the receivers coach who does a lot of the offense, hey, are you going to do anything different tonight? No. And, we still, but that even a little bubble screen we haven't seen.
And, folks, that's a 15-yarder that Glacier Peak's going to grab right there. So, big break for the Grizzlies. Evan Nelson kind of loses his footing, and it pays off for him because somebody comes diving in on him.
David Linney now looking over. 9:13 left in the third quarter. 28-10, Bellevue up, but Glacier Peak just got a big first down on the penalty. Dunbar in motion. Now they hand off to Caribou, but nothing's doing for Caribou.
They're going to have to find something a little bit different because Caribou just can't find any holes tonight.
Tried up on the edge, and Joey Moore was right there to meet him when he got the ball.
Second and 10.
Lenny now gets it to
whoever it was. I think it was Quentin Dunbar, and he was really pushed the line forward. So
I think it might have been, it was Dunbar.
I think it was Quinton, yeah.
It was a little Bellevue Wolverine there. I couldn't tell who had the ball. Shame on me. I got to get the binocs out for the Grizzlies.
It's hard to spot.
All right, 3rd and 5 now. Lenny back. Flags going everywhere.
Make it 3rd and 10 because that's going back 5 yards.
You're a savant, Tim Boyle. When it comes to calling penalties, I mean, the minute the yellow goes up high, you already know the call.
Yes. You got to keep me around for something, Scott.
Want to let everybody know, I hope they're enjoying the broadcast here. 7:59 left in the third quarter, 28-10, as you can see in the top left corner of your screen. David Linney goes over, and he gets caught by Elledge, and he gets down to the 40. Good enough for a Grizzly first down.
Great heads-up play. And Elledge is going to need to get involved more. And just like you said, Evan Nelson's really going to need to get involved in this game. Those two are really going to have to step it up here.
Devin Murphy, the heralded cornerback, on the coverage there. As you see him on the near side, covering Elledge now. 1st and 10 into Bellevue territory. Wings it out to Quinton Dunbar. He makes a move. Makes one guy miss, but he's dragged down just around the 32 by 32. Bashard Baker.
And he had if he would have made one more guy miss. We got a flag on the play though, and that's coming back. Holding against the Grizzlies. Oh, costly penalty. Negates a big play by Quinton Dunbar.
Again, it's been Wolverines penalty ridden tonight, but Glacier Peak done a nice job until now. That's a killer, but 800 plus yards coming into the night in the season in penalties. Also mixing it up run pass. In prior years, they've been predominantly a passing team, but they've almost got equal rushing and passing yards coming off the season. 1st and 17 now for Linney. Takes it up the gut, and he's not going to get but a 1 or 2 yards. He's tripped up in the backfield.
Looks like the play took a little slow to develop, and Linney's going to need to hit a hole a lot quicker than that because he just kind of walked that one through.
Joey Moore is on that side and was there in a hurry. Also Cole Landis, another junior.
I think this one's going to come down. Look for this one to go downfield.
2nd and 18, Linney. Now he gets some pressure. It's a screen. Elledge catches it at the 48.
Flag back here. It's probably going to be another hold from where that flag was thrown.
Michael Newley is on the ground, and it does not look good for Glacier Peak as he is in for the injured Riley Argue, number 57, down on the field. He was grabbing his right knee, Tim Boyle, and that's just never a good sign.
And it's a double whammy because he's hurt, and then they're going to get a penalty, which is going to negate a good play by Sean Elledge.
As they attend to him, and you see Coach Rory Rosenbaugh out to make sure he's okay, they're going to have to go to the depth chart here.
It's going to give us time to thank our sponsor for tonight, the Glacier Peak Grizzly Boosters tonight.
We want to
appreciate them tonight,
absolutely,
making this all happen. Yeah, they are bringing it back. You know, it's Scott, we're looking at 2nd and 29. No problem.
2nd and 9, yeah, no problem.
Jeez. Costly penalties.
As they tend to Michael Newley. Again, he's a junior, 6 foot, 270 pounder. Getting tonight more playing time for the injured Riley Argue, as you see everybody on a knee on both sides.
Well, the problem with the penalties, Scott, is they're having such a hard time getting the first downs when it's 1st and 10. So, 2nd and 29. Come on.
Looks like as they're tending to his left knee. time now, we want to mention to everybody we are going to be covering Glacier Peak basketball and also Snohomish Panther basketball coming up. So if you have interest or know anybody who would like to sponsor those live streaming broadcasts, we do have a few sponsorships available. Go on to SnohomishTimes.com as the crowd here gives a well-deserved applaud to Michael Newley as he is helped off the field.
Looks like it's his left knee that's got him all tangled up. Big kid.
He is a big, big boy. Hopefully he'll be okay and be back. He's just a junior. He's got his senior year to look forward to.
If he had it his way, he'd be back tonight.
Yeah.
These kids want to play.
So we'll have to look to see who they put in place for Newley. As it's second and a long, long way. Almost down to Renton here. But Linney does a nice job up the gut and crosses the mid-stripe into Wolverine territory, the 49.
Did he get tripped up on that, or did he just kind of dive? Fell forward?
Not sure.
Didn't look like he got tackled. It looks like he just kind of jumped forward.
Listen, we have broken barriers with technology, but instant replay is not one that we have been able to come up with. He does. Todd Elvig, engineer, 5-tool players, has the score up. As we see Quentin Dunbar in motion. 3rd and 21, have to make up a lot of room. Now Lenny in trouble, and he goes down.
Just nothing there for him, and that's what you call a coverage sack, Scott. You know, when he just doesn't have anywhere to go, and
the junior, big Cole Landis, wraps up Lenny. You know, he kind of moved up in the pocket. Unfortunately, not a good decision as that pocket was collapsing.
And fast. And now, unfortunately, the Grizzlies are going to have to punt here, and not what they wanted to do.
5:20 left, the clock ticking. High snap, but Smedrud gets it by. Taking a 25, makes one guy miss. Now he spins.
3 guys missed.
I believe it's Bullware now on the right side to the mid-stripe. White jerseys chasing, got some blockers.
And Elledge is going to get it from behind.
And Elledge leaps and finally gets him down on the far sideline at the 10-yard line.
And the ironic thing about that is Elledge is the one that missed him, was the first tackler that missed him. Elledge thinks he got the ball from him, too.
An unbelievable return.
Now that's unfortunate because he had about 5 guys had a shot at him, and again Elledge was the first one that missed him, had an open field tackle on him, and he slipped by. I think that's coming back.
Scott Whiting on a tremendous return.
There's laundry on the field.
The Yellow Hankies.
It is coming back.
I tell you, how many plays tonight, big plays, have been brought back, mostly on the Bellevue side, but a couple on Glacier Peak as well, negating huge plays.
Several. And that just negated a huge return for him.
And they've had a couple returns. Again, Sean Elledge in the first half had some 25, 30 yards returns on some nice plays. That time Whiting.
And again, I can't stress it enough. Elledge gets juked down here and goes on the ground and then ends up being the one to tackle him down, 70 yards down the field.
He took the carpool lane. Seriously. There's no way. Hasty now under center. Gives it up the middle. He is cracked, and I think that is Bullware. Good defensive play by the front line of Glacier Peak, and that's big bussing.
And they stayed home, did what they're supposed to do. And just like you said, it's hard to figure out for the players where everybody's going, so they just have to kind of stay put and do their job and tackle who they think has the ball. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose on that.
Other than the great interception by Timmy the Rudy Douglas in the first half to the last score, really, to make it the 10 points for Glacier Peak, Timmy Douglas been a little quiet. Hasty hands it off on the right side.
Oh! And it's
Sandstrom had it, but he got it back. I think Bellevue recovered.
Oh, they did
Officials
recover.
are saying it's Glacier Peak football. Nate Sandstrom had it.
And he's not happy with himself. He might be hurt. He had the ball. That somebody might have dove on him.
Boulware dropped it.
It went right into the hands of Sandstrom while he was on the ground, and somehow it's just like a hot potato. He's kind of shaken up a little bit as he comes off the field.
And that's a lot of shaking, let me tell you.
Oh, he's mad at himself, too. He had it.
That's 6'4", 285 pounds of shaking. So a huge break for Bellevue as they're sitting at 1st and 10 now. Hasty cuts it through. Boulware.
Ooh. Smed's on the tackle. Otherwise he's bringing it to the house.
Boulware gets up a nice little gain, leave him in 2nd and short. 3:39. The clock is just ticking away for the Bellevue Wolverines.
Well, it's the Grizzlies' worst enemy right now is that clock. And unfortunately, the way when you're running that wing tee, you chew up clock like crazy.
And you have to wonder how much the gallant effort of the guys up front for Glacier Peak, they just got to start wearing on them. So 2nd and 2 now at the Glacier Peak 41-yard lines. A little change in formation as Hasty's under center. Boulware. He dives forward for another large gain and another Wolverine first down. So things started to settle in here for the Bellevue Wolverines with 3:15 left in the third quarter.
Well, they're definitely playing their game right now on the Grizzlies. Playing that wing tee, chewing the clock. They got a lead.
I love how they send the receiver way out to the split side, to the near side. Just for fun. Spins around. Now it's number 5 up the gut, and that's Dakota Jones. Saw him a little bit in the second quarter with the carry. Smedrud and Elledge on the tackle. Yeah, Elledge has made some tremendous plays. We call him the wrestler. Saved some touchdowns. Add that stat. How many touchdowns has he saved this year?
Oh, several. They don't really have an official stat for that, but I'll bet you he's had about 10 touchdown saving tackles this year.
Tyler Hasty now directing traffic. Guys moving around
Somebody's
all
calling
over the place. Now it's a timeout for Bellevue. We hope you're enjoying this playoff action here on Snohomish Times Sports Network. Scott Oshman along with Tim Boyle. Give us an email, scott@snohomishtimes.com, tim@snohomishtimes.com. Again, we had the Snohomish score Federal Way up 6-0 as we'll try and get you caught up on other high school football action from Snohomish County and other.
I could see Snohomish coming back and winning that game the way they've finished out their year this year. They're just a whole new football team since the beginning of the year, starting off 0-5 and then making the playoffs and absolutely dismantling Jackson like 56-7 or something of that nature.
We'll try and catch you up again. We saw another big, Bethel is taking on the kind of north side, one of the powerhouses, Bothell. They were up 14-10, but that was early on. And we're now back to action. 2:14 left in the third quarter. 2nd and 3 for Tyler Hasty. Fakes now, he's going to pass. Scrambles to the near side. Now thinks of a stiff arm and gets rid of it. That's a huge flag. Marcus Hurd, the senior, growing a fabulous beard, by the way.
He is, and I think that's going to go against the Wolverines for it's either going to be a intentional grounding or a hands to the face, illegal hands to the face.
Marcus Hurd had Hasty dead to rights, and Hasty just throws out the stiff arm.
Oh, and it is intentional grounding. So that's going to be a loss of down and the penalty. Good call by the officials there. Because that was absolutely threw it away.
Butch Gunneroff never changes his expression too many times on the far sideline. The Now legendary coach for Bellevue.
It's going to make it about third and
3,
no,
they're saying,
it's a lot
but
farther
it's a
than
lot
that.
farther. That's 3rd and 17.
Yeah. Bellevue has not had to punt the ball today.
They haven't. Hasty.
Oh, flag, and that's going to make it 3rd and 22 because that's going to go against the Wolverines. False start. 3rd and 22, folks. Now, we need to. The Grizzlies need to put Bellevue in a situation where they have to punt.
Again, some juniors. There's a couple sophomores on this Bellevue team. Quite a few seniors, but very much a junior-dominated team tonight. You see they clap out of the huddle and they rush up. Get you in your screen there. Low snap, Hasty.
Pass.
Over the middle, it's caught!
Oh, jeez.
Joey Moore, I think, and he gets it all the way down.
Down to about the 5-yard line. A huge 3rd down play. Is there a flag on the play? I think I see a flag on the play.
Through that ball, AK-47, finally Alex Caribou catches up with him.
Looks like it's going to go against the Grizzlies because they're marching down.
Defender fell down on that, and he had an easy play.
Exactly. Illegal block.
They're calling it on Bellevue.
But that's still going to be a 1st down because that would have happened after he would have got the 1st down.
End of the 3rd quarter, Oak Harbor 33, Eastside Catholic 29.
Whoa, that's a close game. So again, Scott, when Glacier Peak's had these opportunities, 3rd and long, they seem to convert every single time.
Hasty now under center. Hands it to Jacks on the right side. Miles Jack.
So
rumbles down for a pickup of 5.
Just on this drive alone, they had the chance to get him on a fumble, and the Wolverines got it back. Then they had, 3rd and 30 or so, whatever it was, and they convert.
Miles Jack now 7 carries, 80 yards, 1 touchdown. They just have so many kids in the backfield to choose from. Jack and Bulwer in there now. Hands it off to Bulwer, the right side. He's cut down.
Probably loses a couple yards.
By Call and Jacobson. 2nd and 6 is 45 seconds and the clock is running here.
That's the Grizzlies' worst enemy there is that clock right now.
As a quick 3rd quarter is coming to the end. Give Jacobson a breather as he comes out. Brandon Hershey in for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. 25 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. They'll get this play off. Hasty. 2nd and 6. Stumbles is Bulwer.
And he was kind of hit in the backfield. He didn't go down, and he had a lot of daylight in front of him, but then he just fell down.
Better pursuit by the guys in the silver helmets on that play. As we end the 3rd quarter, leave them at 3rd and 6 at the Glacier Peak 16. So 3 quarters of action in the books tonight. Bellevue Wolverines on top 28-10. You're watching and listening to Glacier Peak football and divisional playoff action on Snohomish Sports, Snohomish Times Sports Network.
Well, unfortunately for the Grizzlies, they're giving up those big plays, Scott, and they just can't hold them when it's 3rd and long, 3rd and 30, 3rd and 25, whatever it is. They just can't find a way to hold them. And the Wolverines haven't punted once tonight because they've been able to convert on those big plays somehow.